Welcome to Foglight Video Solutions. This video will cover how to add SQL PI to an Azure SQL database agent. This video will cover how to add SQL PI to a single Azure SQL database agent. SQL PI capability for Azure SQL database agents has been included in the 5.9.7.20 and higher releases of the Azure SQL database cartridges. The prerequisites requirements include that instance connections are made through JDBC. An valid active connection port is available. The default port is 1433. A valid Azure SQL database URL and database name is available. An available SQL Server 2016 or higher instance as described in Nullabase article 289910, and a directory on the SQL Server database server where the SQL Server PI repository is located. Please review the Foglight for Databases deployment guide for additional requirements. To begin, log into the Foglight web console with your Foglight user. If necessary, click on Databases to access the Databases dashboard. In the Global View Databases dashboard, select the checkbox for the Azure SQL Database Agent to add SQL PI to. Click Settings and then Administration. The Azure SQL Database Agent Administration panel opens. Click the SQL Performance Investigator menu option. The SQL Performance Investigator configuration panel opens. At the top is listed the agent managers used by the selected database agents and an indicator if the SQL PI repository is already attached. Click the No SQL PI repository attached link if a PI repository has not already been attached. A license pop-up may appear if this is the first time the SQL PI has been added to this type of agent. Click the Accept button. The next pop-up may list the prerequisites for the PI repository server and the available agent managers for the SQL PI agents to be installed on. Select the agent manager, then click the Apply button. If prompted, now we will specify the server name, port, database name, and log information for the SQL Server-based PI repository. This instance should have been created separately, as per KB article 289910. There are two methods for login connections. Specify the login credentials by either SQL Server or Active Directory authentication. Once the connection information has been entered, click the Next button. A pop-up to create the SQL PI schema is presented. This gives the option to create a new PI repository database or to use an existing PI repository database. To create a new database, use the default database name provided or replace the value with a custom name. Adding a primary file group location and a transaction log location is optional. If these values are not entered, the values will come from the settings previously used to create the instance. Then enter directory name for the raw data. This directory must already exist on the SQL Server instance and is used to store short-term 1-minute data. Alternatively, if a SQL Server PI repository database already exists for the database agents, a radio button and pull-down list is available to choose it. Once complete, click the Finish button. A pop-up will appear to confirm that a new database should be created. Next, in the bottom panel, enable the checkboxes for the database agents where SQL PI will be enabled. Then click the Enable button. After a short time, the SQL PI icon for these agents will turn from red to green, indicating that SQL PI has been enabled for the agents. Return to the Global View Databases dashboard. The SQL PI icon should now be displayed for these database agents, indicating that SQL PI has been enabled. Drill down into the SQL PI panel for an agent. The SQL PI panel should appear, and after a short time the metrics will begin to be populated in the dashboard. To learn more about Foglight for databases, visit us at support.quest.com. For quick support questions, follow us at Quest Experts on Twitter.